We're checking in with the world of gaming next, looking at an old favorite remastered. Grant has the story.
One of the best loved games of 2013 is back, and this time it's on PS4, remastered and bundled with the expansion Left Behind. So let's look back at why The Last of Us was such an incredible game. The Last of Us is groundbreaking. It was in fact my favorite game of 2013. If you splashed out on a PS4 and want a game that's gonna knock you backwards, then you have to pick this one up. From the developers of the amazing Uncharted series, you can expect not only an unprecedented cinematic experience, but also a brilliant narrative. It follows the story of Joel, a survivor in a horrible post-apocalyptic world, one overrun with a fungus that takes over your mind, deforms you, and leaves you ravenous for human flesh. He has to take care of Ellie, a foul-mouthed teenage girl who is needed across town. What ensues is an experience and story no other game has yet to deliver. I cried, swore at the screen, and crawled around in utter fear. It's brilliant in just about every facet. But being a remake on a new and improved PlayStation 4, how do the new graphics compare? Graphically, it's beautiful. The initial game was just as much, and a lot of people might criticize it for being very similar. But where it shines performance-wise is the frame rate. The new hardware means a buttery smooth frame rate and ultra-realistic detail, something that's set around 60 frames a second and at 1080p. The detail is really brought to the surface with wildly reduced anti-aliasing, which are those squiggly lines around rendered objects. Thrown into the mix is the critically acclaimed Left Behind downloadable content, something that we've never touched on the show before. The Left Behind expansion is something fresh and unique. It's definitely something that needs to be played after you finish the main story. It contains crazy spoilers. It's touching and personally one of the most brilliantly crafted emotional tales. It's a must play. But bear in mind it's short, so take your time and explore as much of it as possible. Perhaps even crank up the difficulty. If you've played The Last of Us before, you'll understand what I'm raving about here. If you haven't and own a PS4, what on earth are you waiting for? This is a must-have for anyone who hasn't had this experience. If you've played it, especially recently, it may be best to replay it later on when it's discounted. But who knows? It might just be the best game of 2014 as well.